Starting pitcher brought to you by Reese Nichols. Lauren Howe last time out at USF. She went 4 innings, gave up 7 hits, 3 runs, 2 of those being earned with 2 walks and a K. The ERA was a little bit higher than that early on this season, so she's been able to bring it down, but it'll be quite the challenge to keep it there with the offense on display today for Oklahoma State. Backing up Lauren Howe, Jess Garcia is in the starting lineup. She gets the start at first base. Taylor Solachik over at short. Sammy Hood over at second base as Christy Bradbender continues to try to find the right combination to jumpstart this team. The Shockers have faced quite the competition here for this year, facing another ranked opponent in Oklahoma State. That's what's keeping Wichita State alive. But the Shockers in unfamiliar territory. 3 consecutive conference series losses for the first time since 2015 as Wichita State fell to South Florida. Won the first game 5-3, but falling 5-0 and then 3-2. A win against the number 6 team in the country, though, can jumpstart things to say the least. Let's see what the Shockers have in store for today. Oklahoma State, though, awfully impressive. 35-8 overall, 13-5 in the Big 12. And kicking things off for OSU is Jillian Poulard, the starting center fielder for the Cowgirls. Howe starting things off with a pitch right over the plate for a strike. Poulard this year with a batting average of .281. Takes the second one just off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. This Oklahoma State team, yes, you do have some upperclassmen like Poulard, who is in her senior season. But this Oklahoma State team has been impressive with the freshmen. And look at the wheels being shown by Poulard, who's able to lay it down for an infield single. Good start for Oklahoma State. Wichita State just didn't seem ready, or it could be the fact that that was perfect. Able to get on top of that just right and able to pound it in the dirt, make it challenging for Lainey Brown, Lauren Howe, and company. Talon Edwards takes her turn, goes outside for ball 1. Edwards, the starting third baseman. A sophomore from Moore, Oklahoma. Bunt shown again. Pulled back, decided to do it, and she laid it down. It stayed fair, but the throw is wild, and that allows the Cowgirls to get a runner in scoring position early. Well, this Oklahoma State team is known for its ability to hit the long ball. Wichita State also known for the same thing. But Oklahoma State starting things off with a couple of bunts to put the Cowgirls in prime position to get 2 on. And a prime opportunity for Caroline Wong. She's got some pop, 16 home runs. Good for number 9 in the country. Now starts her off with a pitch outside. .379 batting average for Wong. A whopping 50 hits on the year, and 26 of those are extra baggers, 10 of them being doubles, and 16 going over the outfield wall. Now, just a little bit low on that one. 2 balls, 1 strike to Wong. Wong transferred in from Liberty, started 206 games in 4 years at Liberty. She was stellar for Liberty. Number 6 in career homers with 35, 7th in career RBI with 135. The 3-1. In play, a good dive by Hood, who gets the out at second and the out at first as well. Sammy Hood, smooth with it, getting the double play, a run to score, but could have been much worse for WSU. Well, that's why she was the Defensive Player of the Year last year in the AAC. Wong able to drive in that run, but now nobody on and 2 down for Oklahoma State. Rosie Davis, starting second baseman. She has had a tremendous start to her Oklahoma State career. A freshman out of Tennessee. Sits back on that one. Howe drops it in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Davis, a .364 hitter this year. Her and Carly Godwin, just a pair of freshmen on this team that have a really bright future for Oklahoma State. Two one from Howe. Slices that one over the plate. 2-2. Well, tough job for Rosie Davis to come in. She had to replace Rachel Becker, an All-American for Oklahoma State at second base, but she has made the transition rather seamless. She lifts one to the left, and getting down the one knee, coming up with a catch was Urban to end the inning. Oklahoma State does score a run, but a couple of flashy plays like this by WSU, keeping it as a 1-run game.
When you share a hotel room with your kid, you also share a bedtime with your kid.
Oklahoma State with a 1-0 advantage. Wichita State's turn at the plate, led by Christy Bredbender in season number 13. A look at the Patterson Legal Group starting lineup. Jess Garcia playing first and batting 8th. The notable addition there for Wichita State. Inside the circle for OSU is Kyra Aycock. Brought to you by Reese Nichols, and she's wasting no time going right after CC Wong. Aycock last time out against Tulsa went 4 1/3 innings, scattered 4 hits with a run given up. She had 1 K. She battled. She walked 5 in that one. Oklahoma State's getting that win with an in-state rival in Tulsa, 3-2. And she's up in the count, 1-2. Oklahoma State coming into this game losing 2 of 3 to Iowa State up in Ames. 2-0 loss. Lost 5-2, but then got a win in the finale, 10-2-6. A little bit high for Aycock to CC Wong. Oklahoma State's with this defensive lineup. Rosie Davis at second base has been terrific. Megan Bloodworth, the numbers might not be glossy, but defensively, she is quite the player for OSU. CC Wong, .482 batting average this year. A whopping 12 homers for CC, who's trying to go opposite, continues to twirl in foul territory and drops. Keeps it at 2-2. Cece Wong is just fitting perfectly with this Wichita State team. Ranking number 3 in the country in batting average and 4th on on-base percentage. And maybe the most impressive thing with Cece Wong is her ability to just battle at the plate. That .482 batting average and a high on-base percentage doesn't get out very often, but against Oklahoma State, she was 0-for-4 earlier this year. And that 4-3 loss back on March 6th. Wichita State able to play 2 runs in that game via a couple of errors by the Cowgirls. 3-2. Cece Wong kicking things off with a leadoff walk for WSU. Cece Wong now up to 24 walks on the year. Catching Addie Barnard, who now steps inside the batter's box. Aycock going right at her for a called strike. Addie Barnard with 15 home runs this year. This time she shows bunt, fouls it off. Has 84 in her illustrious career. Continues to climb in the all-time standings for homers. 0-2, Barnard gets a piece to hang in there. Aycock this year 6-2 with an ERA of 3.03. 42 Ks, 29 walks. To get it out here on Addie Barnard would be great, but Barnard able to shoot the gap. Drops it in there as Cece Wong goes from first to third, and Wichita State has its first hit. Addie Barnard with a single. Well, as powerful as she can be, she can also do that. There wasn't a ton behind that one. But that sets up Wichita State with a prime opportunity to tie it up. Oklahoma State this year, in its 43 games, the Cowgirls have scored first in 34 of them. So now 35 out of 44. Oklahoma State changes things up defensively for Taylor Solacek, who takes the first one for a called strike. Solacek, just a sophomore for WSU, 260 batting average. Number 2 on the team in RBI, and she lines one out to short, and it ends up being a double play. Bloodworth comes up with a catch and then finishes the job over at third base. We are seeing some gems early in this one. Job well done there by Bloodworth as Oklahoma State gets a big double play. Two-0 from Aycock. Able to get the corner. 2-1. Bailey Urban, 270 this year. Earlier meeting, she puts in a play. It's right there with Aycock in Oklahoma State. Works out of the first 2 runners getting on for Wichita State, courtesy of Bloodworth. It's 1-0 Cowgirls.
Fresh cut grass. My coffee in the morning. The hot dog smell from the hot dog guy. You did this to me.
With an app that puts your policy in your pocket, it's easy to Geico.
Curse you, ragweed pollen! Achoo!
Nothing over Wichita State as we get ready for inning Harley Godwin, Claire Tim, and Michaela Wark. The three coming to the plate for Oklahoma State. Lauren Howe delivers and dribbles it in there. Godwin, 3 for 4. Her and Rosie Davis had 5 combined hits in that one. And those two have just most opponents they have faced this year. The freshman firepower has been incredible. Cowgirls, Davis and Godwin, roommates off the field. Godwin is actually the only Cowgirl to start every game this season. Those two, number 2 and number 3 on the team in batting average, respectively. They have combined for 60 RBI to go with 18 doubles and 16 home runs. It's got to make Coach Gajewski very excited. Godwin, it's Lauren Howe getting the better of that one as she gets Carly Godwin to go down. Decided to drop that one there. Godwin was trying to level that one up perfectly. However, a little bit too far downstairs as Godwin strikes out. First punch out victim for Lauren Howe. Claire Tim wastes no time, and Hood once again getting dirty and flashing that defensive ability. Sammy Hood comes up with the out for WSU. 2 innings and 2 by Sammy Hood for Wichita State. Couple of tough luck outs there for Oklahoma State. Now a little bit downstairs to Michaela Wark, the designated player of the day for Wark on the year with a .277 batting average. 26 hits this year, 8 of those being home runs. Grounder to third. Nelson able to field it. And a 1-2-3 inning for Wichita State's defense. Oklahoma State still leading 1-0.
Geico makes car insurance easy. As easy as getting stuffed up during allergy season.
Before all the pollen, I used to stop and smell everything. The smell of fresh cut grass, my coffee in the morning, the hot dog smell from the hot dog guy.
Well, that flag very well could rip off. Plenty of wind today for Wichita. Really, for the majority of the day, though, hardly any of that. It was really the right amount, but it has picked up today toward the tail end of the day, which seems to happen in Kansas. Give it 5 minutes, the weather would change. I don't think anyone's complaining about today. Plenty of people in the stands to witness this one. Wichita State and number 6 Oklahoma State. Sammy Hood off to a great start for this one. And now she's ahead in the count 2-0 versus Kyra Aycock. Already 2 remarkable plays, one being an absurd play that deserves to go viral with what she was able to do in inning number 1. Takes a big hack there. Can't connect. 2 balls, 1 strike. Now let's see what she can do at the plate for Wichita State. Had to miss a little bit of time due to injury. With her being back, that sure does some things up defensively. And it's also allowed Christy Bredbender to move her around. She's been at short, move over to second base, as Wichita State tries to get the right lineup out there. 3-1, fouled off by Hood, and it's a 3-2 count. Game number 25 for Sammy Hood. 247 at the plate. 20 hits overall this year. 3-2. That one's a little wild from Aycock, and that allows Sammy Hood to get on base. Back-to-back innings with Wichita State getting the leadoff runner on via the walk. And that was a challenge for Aycock last time out against Tulsa. She did rack up 5 walks in that one. Still found a way to get the win, which is the most important thing. But in our last 2 outings, a combined 9 walks surrendered by her. This one popped up, and that's problematic for Caroline Talent and Wichita State. Oklahoma State gets the out, as Talent got too far underneath it and skied that thing. Oklahoma State playing it perfectly. So Caroline Talent goes down as the first out in the bottom of the second. Laney Brown takes the first one. It goes as a strike. Laney Brown down to 243 for her batting average. Played all 3 games against South Florida. And maybe that'll be the series to jumpstart some things for her. She got 3 hits in that series, scored a run. Against Tulsa, she went over. Against Charlotte, she had a couple of hits. But when you go hitless an entire series, it does play with your brain a little bit, but good for her to bounce back against South Florida. Something that Wichita State for sure needs. A team and a program that has been able to pride themselves on offense over the last so many years. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wichita State this year, batting average of 281, just outside the top 100 this year. This one goes too far inside and gets away from Schneidmiller, and that allows Sammy Hood to race over the second base. Wichita State also 127 in doubles this year. Home runs per game, number 6 in the country, at 1.56. It's really been more feast or famine this year for Wichita State. Brown, just a smidge ahead of that one. But a chance to tie it up with a runner in scoring position. Three-two. Brown trying to drop it in, but not soon enough. Tim comes in for the grab, and there are 2 down. for Aycock and deal with Jess Garcia. Low meeting of the minds inside the circle. Jess Garcia in the starting lineup for today against South Florida. She was 0 for 3 in that series. She has seen some spot time this year, but just one of those players that's a part of the same group for Christy Brebender that's trying to get things straightened out. Does have a 241 batting average this year, but this is her 11th start for 2024. Runner on second for Wichita State. 1-0 lead for the Cowgirls. Aycock getting that one right at the knees. Christy Brebender didn't seem too thrilled about that one. That one a little bit higher. 1-2. Aycock with a chance to get out of the setting. Gave up that walk to start to Sammy Hood. Wichita State unable to scratch that run across, although this one gets by Schneidmiller and allows Sammy Hood to get a little bit closer. That tying run standing over at third base now. Garcia this year with just 3 runs batting in. Number 4 would come at a great time. And it gets by Edwards. She was right there, and it got right between her legs. Just mistimed it. And Jess Garcia able to bring in that run. Sammy Hood from third base ties it up. Well, in the game earlier this year, that's how 2 runs came across for Wichita State via 2 errors for Oklahoma State. So a gift there for WSU to tie it. And now the number 9 hitter, Kristen Nelson, takes her spot at the plate and takes the first one for a strike. Since March 1st, the junior is hitting .444. She started the season 1 for 26, but was battled back. She grounds out, however, to Aycock to close the inning. We're tied at 1-1. When we come back, we'll be joined by one of the biggest names in softball history. We'll tell you more about that when we return.
Geico makes car insurance easy as reinventing yourself after a haircut.
Hello, hello, hello.
Is that my 3rd grade teacher?
Hey, Miss J.
I've changed. I have bangs now.
Oh, I just got a haircut too.
Neat.
I have a very special guest for this inning. A player that you might have heard of. Jocelyn Allo is here. And you're probably going, wait, hold on. An Oklahoma Sooner is here for Oklahoma State and Wichita State. That might not add up. Well, the reason why she is here, she's taking it all in because she's going to be here in Wichita because of Athletes Unlimited. Athletes Unlimited, premier pro softball league in the United States. Athletes Unlimited Pro Softball AUX, an expansion of Athletes Unlimited Pro Softball, which launched in 2020. It's taking place here in Wichita, June 10th to the 25th. It's going to feature 42 of the top players in the world. And Jocelyn Allo, it was made public earlier today that you are joining such cause. So congratulations on that. How's it going?
It's going good. Been getting a lot of attention today and kind of wanted to turn it over to the girls actually playing out on the field. But just thankful to be here, and thank you to AUX for giving me this opportunity.
Well, thrilling stuff for sure as Lauren Howe able to get that one across. Audrey Schneidmiller is at the plate for OSU. 2 balls and 1 strike being the count. Well, AUX, Athletes Unlimited, taking a look at this. This community is so in love with softball, and I think when the announcement was made that it would be taking place here, people just went gaga over it, rightfully so, because Wichita State has had such a great program over the years, being one of the mainstays being out there. What are your thoughts about joining this and being a part of it? When someone approached you with this, what was your first reaction?
I was all for it, you know. I think it's just me doing this little part in growing the game, and hopefully in this near future we can just continue to keep this going and just bring more athletes over to AUX from our other organizations, or vice versa, you know what I mean? I think this is just this little step in growing the game, and just kudos to the college players continuing to do their thing and growing the game in their own retrospect, you know, in the college level. But yeah, shout out to them. They got school going on, they got softball every day, and they're just keep grinding it out.
Oh, you had to do that a time or two back at Oklahoma, so you know a thing or two about that. 2 balls, 2 strikes being the count as that one gets fouled off by Schneidmiller. We'll talk about Oklahoma State and stuff like that here before too long. We'll probably save that for the bottom half of the inning because I really want to put the focus on AUX. And when you take a look at what they do, it's a 2-week stretch. What's that like, I guess, with you taking a look at this? How do you prepare for an intense 2-week stretch of softball out here in Wichita?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is what you're doing in your off season. You know, I'm definitely not just sitting on the couch just watching softball. You know, I'm getting my work in, just like these girls are. And as a professional, it's my job to be disciplined enough to go out and do it when no one's telling me to do it, you know? So I'm just trying to do my part in the off season, been working out super hard down in Dallas. I got my good friend, Nicole Mendez, who's been helping me out and keeping me accountable. We're actually roommates and teammates in college, so we know each other very, very well. But yeah, just been doing my off season work and watching these college girls as well, because they're gonna be joining us too, you know, so I got to scope out the competition.
That's why she's here. She's here to get an eye out on the talent she'll face. There's a little bit of a little bit more of an explanation about what's going to take place here in Wichita. A lot of Wichita State fans know Sidney McKinney, and she's going to be coming back this way, which I'm sure she'll be hounded no matter where she goes in this town because she is quite the superstar, and
she was great.
Rightfully
when we
so.
played her. Great.
Well, let's dive a little bit deeper into Sidney McKinney. What makes her such a good player?
Man, she just does it all. She can lay a bunt down, she can slap, she can hit one over the fence. She's making great backhand plays, got a strong arm, and just a great personality out there to watch, you know. Played against her. I never got the opportunity to actually talk to her face to face, but thankfully, thanks to AUX, I'll get this opportunity to just pick her brain and pick all the other vets' brains. But yeah, shout out Sidney McKinney. You are a Wichita State stan. Everybody knows you here, girlie.
Got that right. Megan Bloodworth. She grounds out Lauren Howe inside the circle, getting the strikeout for Schneidmiller, and now forcing the ground out there. So top of the lineup coming up for Oklahoma State with Jillian Poulard, who singled with an infield single, and then she came around and scored in inning number 1 for the Cowgirls. Sidney McKinney, I know it's not just about Sid the Kid. That's what she's called around here. It's more than just that. Have you had a chance to take a look at that roster and go, wow, look at this one, look at this one, look at this one?
We are stacked. I'm just most excited to be learning from a lot of the vets. I mean, I'm going into year 3, so I don't really consider myself too much of a vet yet. But I'm just excited to learn from Sam Fisher, Haley McClenny, Amanda Lorenz, Alicia Ocasio, and just to be in the presence of greatness every single week is awesome, and I think it's just going to up my game even more.
Yeah, more from Jocelyn Aldo when we return.
Geico makes car insurance easy as reinventing yourself after a haircut.
Hello, hello, hello.
Is that my 3rd grade teacher?
Hey, Miss J.
I've changed. I have bangs now.
Oh, I just got a haircut too.
Neat.
And Wichita State tied up at 1. Bottom half of inning number 3, Cece Wong, Addie Barnard, and Taylor Solacek all coming to the plate. Jocelyn Allo still with us, the Oklahoma sensation, who has now turned pro. And I can't wait till when Addie Barnard steps at the plate, because I'm sure you've been watching what she's been able to do here at
sure
Wichita
have.
State.
I sure have.
Well, I mean, I think you're safe. 122 career home runs. I think it's probably going to be fine. Number 1 in NCAA Division I, as you can see there with the graphic. But Addie Barnard is climbing the standings ever so
Good for her.
slowly. 84 home runs for her. What do you think of Addie Barnard, the home run queen of Wichita State? We talked about Sid the Kid. Now you got Addie Barnard, who's here for another season.
Yeah, played against her as well, and we always had to just watch our backs whenever she was up to bat. And I was like, pitchers, please don't leave it over the plate because she's going to whack it. But no, she's got a solid swing, knows what she's looking for as a hitter. There's swingers and there's hitters, and I feel like Abby Barnard, right?
Barnard. It's all good.
Shout out, love you, sorry. Yeah, she just knows what she's looking for at the plate and just swings it hard. And from her stature, you wouldn't think she'd be dropping 84 bombs, but man, good for her. She's getting after it, climbing that ladder, and keep doing your thing, girlie.
That's the one thing I think I'm most impressed with as Cece Wong lines out the left. Addie Barnard did single back in the first inning. I think that's the one that you brought up. You look at her, and I don't think you would, if Wichita State lined up all of their players and you go, which one is the home run hitter? I don't think Addie Barnard would be the one to pick. But how do you, I guess, overcome maybe the not being the most physically gifted person? How do you overcome that to be such a dynamic hitter that she's become?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just your hard work, and I'm sure she does a lot of film on her own and really studies her own swing, as well as just pitchers as well, and how she thinks pitchers are going to come at her, how she can combat that. So it's a lot of little details that goes into becoming a great hitter, and clearly she's doing it to a T.
And that one getting a little bit of help, though, from Oklahoma State's center field. Poulard unable to come up with the grab, so the second error. But come on, when you blast it that high up in the air, I can't imagine that that's an easy catch.
Hey, it's a tough play to make. Also, I know from personal experience that Wichita State can get very, very windy. So the wind, at least when I played here, would kind of messed me up a little bit when I was out in the outfield. I guess that's why Coach Gasso always stuck me just at DP.
It just kept you there and called it good. Taylor Solacek, she's at the plate with a runner in scoring position. Aycock a little bit high and outside. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Solacek lined out to shortstop back in the first frame. You brought up the experience of playing here in Wichita, so you're familiar. What do you think of Coach Christy Bredbender and what she's been able to do as a head coach at Wichita State?
Man, just again, playing against her, she just knows how to get a scrappy group of girls that are just going to get after it, and they don't care who's in that other dugout. They are like, all right, you're Oklahoma State. We don't care. We're going to beat you any way possible, and we're going to do everything in our power to get that dub. And I think that's kind of always been Wichita State's repertoire, is that they are a scrappy bunch of girls, so don't ever take any pitch off when you're playing the Wichita State Shockers. But Coach Bredbender just, there we go.
Yeah,
See ya.
2-2 ends up carrying, and it goes off the tree. Taylor Solacek.
Hey, I love a good bomb. Thank you for hitting that.
You have the all-time home run leader here on the broadcast. Someone had to go yard.
Hey, she knew. She knew.
Taylor Solacek is the one who goes the distance, got underneath that one and drove that one. That wind just kept pushing it, hit the trees. So
Save
job
those
well done.
cars back there.
How many trees have you hit?
Man.
Or what's the weirdest thing that maybe you hit on a home run? Did you hit a car on accident?
You
or
know,
a flagpole?
I think it was my freshman year. There was the ESPN van out in center field, and I think it was against Texas or a regional. I can't remember, but I broke the van window, and they gave me that ball after. I was like, thank you. I can't say that I've broken a van window.
Tough play, but a nice job done by Bloodworth, able to put that thing on a rope and deliver a perfect throw. We'll get another look at it to see just how close it was. Oh, man, barely got there. Yep, a nice little stretch as you brought up with Godwin being over there. So job well done there for Oklahoma State to generate that second out.
I just have to shout out Coach Gajewski, too. He's done a great job with this Oklahoma State program, and now every year they're World Series contenders, and he has just flipped that program and gotten the right players to buy into what he's doing. And he was actually talking with my dad a little bit this past summer. So my dad says, hey, Coach Gajewski.
Well, as you brought up, Coach Gajewski is running the show here with Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State. Does it feel right to be doing this ESPN Plus broadcast with Oklahoma State being out there? Is it all right?
Yeah, it's all love at the end of the day. I just love seeing the sport of softball grow, and yes, I was a Sooner, but man, these Oklahoma State girls get after it. These Wichita State girls get after it. And just as a fan of the game, you just have to applaud their hard work that they've put in.
This one driven the right. Sammy Hood, though, ends up flying out, and that wraps up the inning. Jocelyn, we'll let you get going. Appreciate it, and looking forward to seeing you here in Wichita.
Appreciate it. Boomer Sooner, baby.
When you share a hotel room with your kid, you also share a bedtime with your kid.
Good crowd on hand for Oklahoma State, the number 6 team in the country, and Wichita State Shockers have the upper hand, 3-1 as we get ready for the fourth. All thanks to Taylor Solachek's 2-run blast in the third. Talon Edwards, Caroline Wong, and Rosie Davis, the 3 coming up for Oklahoma State. Appreciate Jocelyn Allo for stopping on by. Athletes Unlimited Pro Softball AUX going to be here in Wichita. The 3rd season runs from June 10th through the 25th. 42 of the top players in the world. Last season took place in Rosemont, Illinois. Rachel Garcia is the defending champion, while Danielle O'Toole won the inaugural season. All games are going to be carried exclusively on ESPN platforms, which is exciting. And if you want to come catch a game, you get your tickets now. Such a great concept, too. It's a point system. Sydney McKinney is going to be here, but Jocelyn Allo is going to join the group. Check swing here from Talon Edwards. And behind the plate, Chad Spittler says as she went around, Lauren Howe getting another K. Well, that was pretty close. But ultimately, she goes around for Oklahoma State. Lauren Howe, ever since the first inning, gave up that single. And then Talon Edwards was able to reach the bags. Caroline Wong grounded into a 4-6-3 double play. Sammy Hood was the one who had the sensational play over at second. Wong did indeed drive that run, and here she is popping up. Guess who? Sammy Hood. She comes up with the grab for Wichita State, and there are 2 down here in the fourth. Rosie Davis line out to left field back in the first. Coming into this game with an on-base streak of 8 in a row. looking to continue that, but Howe trying to prevent that from happening. Tried to spin that one back in, winds up being off the dish. Davis was the hero last time these two teams met. She had that triple to tie it up in the sixth, and then she had the walk-off single in the eighth. She has just fit in perfectly for Coach Gajewski's group. 3 consecutive WCSWS appearances. Davis waited back, dribbles one to short. Solacek zips one over in time. And Lauren Howe and the Shockers, another 1-2-3 inning. 3 in a row for WSU as the Shockers lead 3-1.
Geico makes car insurance easy. As easy as getting stuffed up during allergy season.
Before all the pollen, I used to stop and smell everything. The smell of fresh cut grass, my coffee in the morning, the hot dog smell from the hot dog guy. You did this to me.
With betting at number 4, Caroline Talent, Laney Brown, and Jess Garcia, the 3 coming up for WSU. Talent flew out to third base. When I say flew out, it was her attempting a bunt and ended up getting too far underneath it and popped it up down the third base line. Ended up being caught by Edwards. Aycock staying in there for Oklahoma State. Wichita State looking to get that marquee win. Coming off of 3 consecutive conference series losses for the first time since 2015. Talent against Oklahoma State was 0-2 with a couple of Ks. And that 4-3 win for Oklahoma State in 8. And really the errors for Oklahoma State, that's been the main issue for the Cowgirls at this point. Because those errors have ended up hurting Oklahoma State as Talent able to draw the walk. Caroline Talent now in double figures in the walks department with 10. Laney Brown flew out to left field with her first plate appearance back in inning number 2. Aycock grooving that one in there for a strike. Laney Brown from Oklahoma. I'm sure her and the other Oklahoma natives, anytime it's a battle with Oklahoma State or Oklahoma, you gladly welcome the challenge and maybe get up for that one a little bit more. And Jocelyn Allo, as she brought up Wichita State, one of those programs and one of those teams that is not going to sit down and just let you do whatever. Even against Oklahoma, although it was a loss for Wichita State, Oklahoma scored 7 runs in the first 2 innings, but from that point forward, Allison Cooper, she pitched a great game in relief. And I think some people, you look at the result, and yeah, a loss is a loss, but Oklahoma had been bludgeoning people this season. Check swing, but it ends up doing enough for Laney Brown. She bounces it in right field. Laney Brown getting that hit, her first for today, the 3rd one for Wichita State. When I said check swing, it was a little more of a 3/4 of a swing. From this vantage point, sure looked like she didn't intend to go all the way, but ended up working out well for Laney Brown. 3rd hit against the Cowgirls this season. Jess Garcia She reached courtesy of an error back in the second, and that ended up scoring a run for Wichita State. Went right under the glove of Edwards at third. And then in the third frame, you have the error on the drop from center field for Hattie Barnard, and it winds up costing 2 runs for Oklahoma State. Jess Garcia lays down the bunt. The sacrifice works for the Shockers as both runners advance. And 9-hole Nelson, Krista Nelson, set to take the plate with 2 runners in scoring position. Krista Nelson did ground out to Aycock back in the second. But looks like Coach Gajewski might be thinking about switching it up for the Cowgirls with 2 runners in scoring position and just 1 down. He ends up making the call by making a switch out there on the field for Oklahoma State. Still waiting to see the pitcher officially emerge for the Cowgirls as you have a little bit of movement out there. But Aycock sure is staying there looking like that she'll be done, but we'll see officially. And now it is official. A pitching change for Oklahoma State. Wichita State with 2 runners in scoring position when we return.
Geico makes car insurance easy.
Say when.
As easy as loving Parmesan.
Say when. Say when. Say when. When.
The Rosenberry ends up taking the spot inside the circle for Oklahoma State. Great numbers for her this year. She started against Iowa State in the last series for the Cowgirls. She went 6 1/3, gave up 5 hits, 5 runs, all of them being earned, struck out 2 and walked 1. She did give up 2 home runs. In 4 of her last 5 appearances in the circle, she has surrendered a home run. Kristen Nelson was trying to go yard in the first one, but unable to come up with it. Nelson grounded out to the pitcher back in inning number 2. Nelson with a great opportunity to extend this thing for Wichita State. 2-run advantage as it stands. Nelson this year, though, started off slow, but now a batting average of .326, just 12 runs batted in. And now she'll have to be a little bit defensive. 1 ball, 2 strikes against her. Rosenberry ended up transferring from Virginia Tech. Last year turned in the best year of her career. She went 5-2 with a 2.65 ERA, struck out 20 batters in 37 innings of work. Came in relief a couple different times in Big 12 games last year against KU, Texas, Texas Tech, and Oklahoma. One, 2. At the shoulders of Kristen Nelson. Count leveled out at 2-2. Rosenberry this year sitting at number 27 in the country in ERA with 1.47. Her and Lexi Kilfoyle have been terrific. Kilfoyle this year, number 4. With an ERA of 1. That is absurd. 2-2. Nelson down the left field line, but it winds up going too far to the left. She'll try back and do it again.
Freeze! Everybody clap your hands. Come on, y'all.
2-2. A little looper that ends up dropping in front of the right fielder. Talent comes in to score, and 9-hole Nelson drives in the 4th run of the game for Wichita State. Since March 1st, hitting .444, and that is number 12 in the RBI category. Doesn't get too many of those opportunities, so you got to capitalize when it does happen. Not a lot of power, but it gets the job done for the Shockers. And now arguably the most dangerous hitter for Wichita State at the plate, and Cece Wong still searching for that first one for this evening. Walked back in the first. She lined out to left field back in the 3rd. Wong pops it up in foul territory, but it does get pushed out of danger for Cece Wong. If the bases were loaded here for Cece Wong, Oklahoma State probably wouldn't feel great about her numbers. When the bases are loaded for Cece Wong, she's 7 for 8. The runners on the corners here for the Shockers. That's a foul on that one off. Shania Miller appears to be okay. We'll check on her just briefly, just to make sure. Everyone appears to be fine. Cece Wong transferred in from Grand Canyon. She is the only player at the NCAA Division I level hitting .480 or better with at least 10 home runs. Pretty wild. 0-2, good eye from Cece Wong. Rosenberry trying to get that K to generate that second out, trying to keep it as a 3-run game. And with Oklahoma State's offense, I don't know if you feel safe with 3. 1-2, hard hit, but a great play, and it winds up being an out at second, but not out first. Cece Wong able to get that run across for Wichita State. It's 5-1 Shockers. That was a tough play by Davis. And just a little bit off for OSU. That would have been our second double play here for this evening. Instead, Cece Wong reaches. Laney Brown is in, and Kristen Nelson is gone at second. Well, if you really want some more assurance runs, where's Jocelyn Aldo at? Maybe she needs to come back in for Addie Barnard at the plate, although I don't know if she needs any magic from one of the top players in NCAA softball history. Barnard singled back in the first. She did score in the 3rd. The way that she got on was courtesy of the second error for Oklahoma State. Barnard trying to drive that one, instead a bit off. And now she'll have to tighten things up a little bit at the plate. Rosenberry trying to keep it right here. But a tough task with Addie Barnard chilling at the plate. Always a danger. 1-2. Barnard goes down swinging. Job well done by Rosenberry. However, the Shockers do get 2 on the board. The 4th, it's 5-1 Wichita State.
And nada yada yada. Only at Metro.
number 6, Oklahoma State and Wichita State. It's been a fun one from Wilkins Stadium. Lots of defense on display in the first couple of innings. Oklahoma State. But after the display of defense, we did see a couple of errors that aided Wichita State to get to an advantage of 3-1. They tacked on 2 more in the previous inning to make it 5-1. In inning number 5, Carly Godwin trying to get something going here for Oklahoma State, and that will do. Carly Godwin driving that one right up the middle with Oklahoma State with its second hit of the day. Surprised Sammy Hood didn't get that one. She's been all over the place. This Oklahoma State team sitting with just 1 run and 2 hits as Claire Tim gets ready. You just have a feeling it's only a matter of time for these Cowgirls. Because if you take a look at their rankings, they're number 42 in the country in batting average, number 61 in doubles, number 7 with home runs per game. Wichita State is just a little bit better. The fielding percentage this year for Oklahoma State is number 4 in the country, so a couple of errors, a little bit out of the ordinary for OSU. But this is a team that can score. And it doesn't take long for these Cowgirls. The 1-1 from Howe. Gets away from Brown. Godwin advances to second. Oklahoma State with a runner in scoring position. For the first time since that first inning, Oklahoma State got 2 runners on right off the bat. Runners on the corners for OSU. And then a 4-6-3 double play. Did score a run for the Cowgirls, but it's been a little bit of a problem. However, this one belted to center field. Claire Tim doesn't get it over the wall, but it does result in a double. And the Cowgirls have something cooking here in the 5th. That was just inches away from going over the wall for Claire Tim. That would have been her 6th home run on the year. And that would have cut into the deficit to make it a 2-run ball game. There's still plenty of firepower in the tank for OSU. Warwick, the designated player, below 300 with her batting average, but she does have 20 RBI. Howe now trying to work out of this jam with 2 runners in scoring position. Tim now up to 5 doubles for Oklahoma State. The 1-0. Howe able to drop it in there. 1-1. Oklahoma State's averaging 6 runs per game. A collective batting average of 309 for this Cowgirls unit. 1-1 fouled off. Warwick in the game earlier this season against Wichita State was 0 for 4 with a couple of Ks. A chance for redemption for OSU. She did ground out to third base to close the second. 1-2, just made contact. Lauren Howe was trying to get that 4th strikeout. One, 2 from Howe. Good work from Brown to slide over. Almost got by her. That would have allowed Oklahoma State to advance both runners. One of them would have been a run. 3 Ks for Lauren Howell, the most since March 22nd. She pitched a gem back then against UTSA. 2-2, fouled off. She had 5 innings in that one. Allowed just 1 hit. 9 Ks, 2 walks. This season, though, a little bit different than what took place last year. 2.68 ERA as season goes, 7.37 this year. Now just a bit high. And good work from Michaela Wark to potentially load the bags, and therefore one swing can tie it up for Oklahoma State. Now, not a ton of power at the bottom of the lineup today for OSU, but still, that is something that's got to be worrisome for Christy Brebender. Three-two. Driven to left center, and it drops in for 1, and that's all it'll be worth. But still, Michaela Wark coming up with the RBI for Oklahoma State. It's 5-2. Good piece of hitting for Michaela Wark. 21 RBIs now for her. And checking in for her as a pinch runner, Tia Warsaw. Another freshman for Oklahoma State. So Wark gets rewarded. And Christy Brebender, sensing that now would be the perfect time to bring in a new hurler to try to preserve this 3-run lead. Nobody down here in the 5th. 5-2 Wichita State. We'll tell you about the replacement when we come back. Oklahoma State threatening to score some more.
Geico makes car insurance easy. As easy as getting stuffed up during allergy season.
Before all the
Oklahoma State turned to a new pitcher not too long ago when the Shockers had a couple of runners in scoring position at Wichita State's. Christy Brebender going to do the same with 1 runner in scoring position, but 2 runners on in total with a runner at first for Oklahoma State and nobody down. Allison Cooper is the one who takes over. And if you're a Shocker fan, you're hoping for a similar success with what she had last week against Oklahoma. Warsop ends up going over to second. Oklahoma State turning to Lexi McDonald, who checks in as a pinch hitter for Audrey Schneidmiller. And McDonald down the count 0-2. She's quite the player, though, just a sophomore for Oklahoma State. .295 batting average, making her 30th appearance this year. She does have 3 homers with 9 RBI. This one ends up grazing her. And she gladly takes that first base spot. Lexi McDonald ends up being hit by a pitch by Cooper. And now bases are loaded for Megan Bloodworth, number 9 hitter. Quite the player over at short at the dish. 181 batting average. Here's the thing, though. She has driven in 20 runs this season. She has 15 hits, and she's at least efficient and effective. 15 hits resulting in 20 RBI. It's not a bad ratio. Not to mention, out of the 15 hits, you have plenty of them coming with extra bags. Wichita State ends up going the first, doesn't get the out there, and Oklahoma State getting 2 runs courtesy of Megan Bloodworth going down the third base line. Tough play for Nelson, and Oklahoma State has climbed back within 1. Wasn't even that much of a look at home plate, but plenty of speed for Bloodworth to get over there. So 2 runs are in, courtesy of that play. And now you have runners on the corners again for Jillian Poulard. Well, Cooper, last week against Oklahoma, she came in relief, went 6 innings, gave up 6 hits, but did give up a run. This one is deep into foul territory. It's caught by Urban, but it is deep enough to tie up the game at 5. Poulard comes up with the RBI sac fly, in Oklahoma State has a 4 spot in the 5th to tie it up. And Bloodworth's now at second base. And now you have the meat of the lineup coming up for Oklahoma State with Talon Edwards, Caroline Wong, and potentially Rosie Davis. Dangerous situation here. Cooper, last time out against South Florida for 2 innings, gave up 1 hit, had 1 walk in that game. In the first game against South Florida, she went 5 innings, scattered 7 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks. Her last 3 outings being pretty stellar. But here against Oklahoma State, the Cowgirls have completely flipped the script. And looking to continue as Talon Edwards. They reached back in the first. She did strike out last time in the 4th. 1-0, gets picked up by Solacek, takes the out over at first. Runner does advance all the way to third base. 2 down. And having to get out of the way there at second base was Megan Bloodworth, but she does reach third. Caroline Wong. She did drive in a run back in the first via a 4-6-3 double play. That's how Oklahoma State got the scoring started. Cooper trying to spin that one in there. She then pop up to second base back in the 4th frame. The 1-0. Cooper betting that one in there, 1-1. Wong with 42 RBI. This is the perfect spot for her, for Oklahoma State. 1-1, waited back on it, drives it to left. Caroline Wong stopping at first. Oklahoma State jumps ahead again. It's Wong delivering the RBI. Number 43 for Oklahoma State. You just knew that that was the perfect moment. And Wichita State's crowd a little bit stunned. It was a 5-1 advantage, but a 5 spot in the 5th, putting the Cowgirls back on top. Rosie Davis, the 9th hitter for this inning. 0 for 2. Lined out the left field, grounded out to shortstop. Back in the 4th frame. Ends up dribbling that one foul. She's down the count 0-2. The Cowgirls just completely battle-tested, never phased whatsoever. And they're looking for a bounce back too. Wichita State talked about their recent slide. Same could be said for Oklahoma State last series, losing 2-3 against Iowa State. They did take 2-3 versus number 2 Texas back to close out the month of March, which Texas, a team that won the series against Oklahoma, snapping that lengthy streak. This Oklahoma State team with plenty of ranked wins over number 10 UCLA, number 16 Florida, number 4 Washington. 2 wins against number 19 Baylor, 2 wins against number 2 Texas. A terrific team for Oklahoma State. Two from Cooper. Strikeout takes place. Davis goes to 0 for 3, but Oklahoma State, the Cowgirls get 5 on the board in the 5th. They lead 6-5.
Exactly. Jiffy Lube, car more.
Well, a different situation for Ivy Rosenberry, who is sitting inside the circle for Oklahoma State. She came in, and not so great of circumstances for OSU. But now she's got a 1-run lead and trying to keep it that way as we are all ready for the bottom of inning number 5. Taylor Solacek, Bailey Urban, and Sammy Hood. Those are the 3 set to come to the plate for Wichita State. Last time up for Solacek with our very special guest, Jocelyn Allo, being on the broadcast. She ended up getting a hold of one, going to left field and clipping a tree branch. It was home run number 11 for Solacek. Two-0. Getting a piece. Goes to 2 balls, 1 strike. The official line for Kyra Aycock, who started this game, 3 in the 3rd. 3 hits, 5 runs, 3 of those earned with 3 walks. Rosenberry with just 1 hit given up so far in her relief efforts so far for Oklahoma State. With an ERA of 1.47, Wichita State's going to have to dig deep. Solacek hanging in there, protecting the plate. Rosenberry's ready. Count goes to 3-2. Rosenberry, in her 2 years at Virginia Tech, ended up winning 8 games with 4 losses. Made 23 total appearances as a Hokie. Well, 11 starts. She had 5 complete games, had 3 shutouts. Certainly was great there, finds a home down in Stillwater, Oklahoma. (3-2), Solacek pops it up, and it winds up being hauled in right field. One down. Well, speaking of Rosenberry, transferred in from Virginia Tech. She grew up in Virginia. She was drawn to Oklahoma State, not only to play at the highest level, but she also has family in Ardmore, Oklahoma. With the college transfer portal being so active, starting to see more and more player movement. But that really came beforehand, but ends up finding a perfect home, and she has fit in perfectly for this Oklahoma State team. The 0-2, sails on her. Bailey Urban, 1 ball, 2 strikes to her. 0 for 2 today. Grounded out to the pitcher back in the first. Went to short in the third. 1-2, she goes down. Rosenberry delivers the punch out, and there are 2 down in the bottom half of the 5th. Career strikeout number 141 for Ivy Rosenberry. 76 now, make it 86 now as a Cowgirl. Looks like Christy Brebender would like to have the crew come in and chat about things here. Don't know what the conversation is about with these 3 individuals. Don't know if something looked a little bit off to Christy Brebender. She wants everything to be double checked, and Christy Brebender trying to say, hey, Bailey, come back out this way. Urban's coming back out. I'm still not quite sure what the ruling would be, unless it would be interference of some sort. Was there maybe a change that wasn't reported? Looks like we're gonna get an explanation.
66 going to catch. What was that last? What was the count before the girl got out for y'all? What was the last count? 0-2?
Of course, Bailey Urban trying to make an argument that she was up at the count 3-0, but it's actually 1 ball, 2 strikes. So a change happened that wasn't reported, which is why I'm assuming Bailey Urban is able to come back. Something that you don't see all too often. Behind the dish now is Wong for Oklahoma State. But yeah, you haven't seen that so far this year. So if you have a bingo card at home, now you can check that off your list if you're trying to go for a full-on blackout. Urban ends up skying this one anyways, and underneath it is Poulard. And now it's officially 2 down here in the 5th. Very strange. So Wong is behind the dish. Tim goes from left to right field. Warsop is now over in left. And those are all the changes that we have for Oklahoma State. Sammy Hood, her turn at the dish. 0 for 1. She walked back in the second, flew out to right. Back in the third. It seemed like there could have been enough power for Sammy Hood back then, but ended up losing its strength as it got closer and closer to the wall. Hood was trying to lay down the butt, trying to sneak one by Oklahoma State. And now she'll have to ditch that effort, or at least that part of her game, as she's down the count 1-2. One, two for Rosenberry. Slices off. Two. Rosenberry can't field it cleanly. And that allows Sammy Hood to get on the bags with 2 down. Sammy Hood getting there once again. She's just having a terrific day all the way around. I'll be curious to see if her double play that she had in the first inning gets any traction. It very well should. One of the better plays I've seen from Sammy Hood, and boy, does she have a bright future ahead of her. Caroline Talent trying to go yard in the first one, but Rosenberry blows it by her. Talent flew out to third base back in the second. She was trying to lay down a bunt and got underneath it. She drew a walk in the fourth. Rosenberry ahead in the count 0-2. Rosenberry got that strikeout in the fourth frame. She got Addie Barnard to strike out for Wichita State. Easier said than done. Second one here would close out the inning. 1-2. Talent lifts it near the wall, and it ends up being bobbled. And an unsuccessful catch by Godwin. That one's tough. When you're getting closer and closer to the wall, you just don't trust your instincts once you get close to that thing. I don't care who you are. You can be as fearless as you want, but you're still going to feel it. 1-2 again. Another foul ball for Caroline Talent. Talent this year is 186 coming into the game. She does have a couple of home runs. With that wind pushing everything out, you hope that you can just get enough of one and hope that weather can help you out. 1-2, Rosenberry blows it right by her, and it ends up being the second K for Rosenberry, and the one-run lead is preserved for the Cowgirls. 6-5, Oklahoma State. 6-5 Cowgirls. 5 runs in the fifth, allowing Oklahoma State to erase a 4-run deficit. Opening up the sixth is the gal that started it all in the fifth, Carly Godwin. She ended up singling in the fifth. Came around the score for OSU. Allison Cooper staying in the circle for Wichita State. She came in for Lauren Howe. Lauren Howe with 4 solid innings before she ran the trouble in the fifth. Her official line, 4 innings of work, 4 hits, 4 runs, 2 of those being earned with 3 strikeouts. Her most strikeouts since a 9 strikeout performance against UTSA. Godwin, turn on 1. Too far ahead of it, though. Second on the team with 33 RBIs is Carly Godwin. 9 home runs, 9 doubles. Among all freshmen nationally, she is number 6 in home runs and 7th in RBI. She is 1 home run away from tying the single-season record for home runs by a freshman. This one on the ground. Hood with another defensive play for Wichita State. There is 1 down here in the 6th. You could probably say that Claire Tim's double was what really got things rolling for Oklahoma State. A team that can hurt you with a long ball, but also a team that is the top 50 for doubles. Tim able to get that double to take place. She goes right back to Cooper, though, here with this plate appearance. And Allison Cooper generates the 2nd out in the 6th. Michaela Wark. She drove in a run last time. Thought about chasing after the first one. Wark, a redshirt sophomore. She didn't redshirt at Oklahoma State. She redshirted in Lawrence. She played for the Kansas Jayhawks, part of the Big 12. And so going to Oklahoma State and was a part of the all Big 12 all freshman team last year. Quite the performer as a freshman on that Women's College World Series team. Started 59 games as a freshman. She slashed .314, .392, .541 with 9 doubles and 10 home runs. Ends up fouling that one off. Hanging in there, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Funny enough, last year on April 6th, she went 3 for 4, including a game-winning 2-run home run against her original college team in Kansas. Cooper trying to make it a 1-2-3 inning, and she ends up dropping it in there. She changed it up. Wark took it, and she goes down via the K. Wichita State keeps it as a 1-run deficit as we move to the bottom of the 6th.
Geico makes car insurance easy.
Say when.
As easy as loving.
Coming up for Oklahoma State, Texas Tech Red Raiders. North Texas, now part of the American Athletic Conference. UT Arlington being a part of that as well. There's no doubt, though, that that final series against Oklahoma looms rather large for Oklahoma State for a variety of reasons. For the current Big 12 standings, obviously. but also Oklahoma set to join the SEC. A lot of bragging rights for that final series, but I do feel like it'll be a little bit different, though, for softball and a few other sports. For other sports like men's basketball and football, especially football, it just scheduling just seems like it takes. You announce an edition today that will be played in 2030, 2031. But it does feel like that for some other sports, there's an opportunity to continue the rivalry. And I would hope that we would continue to see the rivalry between Oklahoma State and Oklahoma. Ivy Rosenberry trying to finish the job as she starts the bottom of the sixth with Lainey Brown. Brown is 1 for 2. She flew out to left field. She singled in the fourth. They didn't go with a full swing back in inning number 4. They ended up finding a perfect spot in right field. Fouls up 3-1. Brown hanging in there on the 3-2. 3 hits this year now coming against Oklahoma State. In total, she has 27 hits now, and 3 of those taking place against the Cowgirls. And she still continues to fight at the plate. In the game earlier this year, a lot of the action for Wichita State and Oklahoma State didn't take place until inning number 5. Oklahoma State would grab a 1-0 lead. Shockers would get 3 in the top of the 6th before Oklahoma State would tie it up with 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th frame. And Lainey Brown, using her eyes to get on the bags, she gets the walk. Number 7 on the year for Lainey Brown. Now, Christy Bremenner, she might be thinking about making a switch at the plate or bringing in a pinch runner. How about that? That's what it is for Wichita State. Jess Garcia is going to stay out there. A different runner will be on the bags for WSU. Avery Barnard getting her spot at first base for WSU. Jess Garcia showing bunt, lays it down. Rosenberry gets the out over at first base. Jess Garcia, though, for the 2nd time, successfully advancing a runner via a sacrifice bunt. Nothing wrong with small ball, especially when you're down by 1 run. Just trying to get any sort of run to come in to tie it up. Nothing wrong trying to manufacture one via that way. Kristen Nelson. Wichita State had a run in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th. 1 being driven in courtesy of Kristen Nelson. Rosenberry able to get the call there, 1-1. Barner now in scoring position. As long as you don't go into a double play here, you got Cece Wong on deck, which is perfect for Wichita State. Oklahoma State had its top RBI producer in Wong, spelled W-A-N-G, deliver the go-ahead. Cece Wong, W-O-N-G, has a chance maybe to put a run on That could have been a run there for Kristen Nelson. It ended up getting by the defender. Barnard ends up going to third. Kristen Nelson. Tough hop. Tough play to make for Bloodworth. And Kristen Nelson has her second hit for the day. And now, if you're Rosenberry, how do you deal with Cece Wong? She does not have a hit so far. She walked back in the first, lined out the left, back in the third, and then in inning number 4, reached courtesy of a fielder's choice. Wichita State looking to tie it up at Oklahoma State. But like to make sure everything is in order, understanding the danger that is approaching. Now, Oklahoma State, this is a team that was down by 4 runs and found a way to bounce back to take the lead. And this year, Oklahoma State's been awfully impressive when it comes to hitting, but the pitching has been pretty absurd as well. Number 9 in the country in earned run average, a collective ERA of 1.82. Also number 10 in the country in shutouts with 12. Strikeout to walk ratio, number 31. Just a good group inside that circle. And Ivy Rosenberry being one of those with that 1.47 ERA. She'd like to keep it there. One. Rosenberry trying to nibble, trying to get that call. And that's the thing, if you let Cece Wong get on, you have Addie Barnard, who is also just around the corner. Wong, chance for a double play. Instead, Bloodworth will take the out over at first. No reason to risk it there, so Nelson advances to second. Wong goes down via the ground out. Now bringing her total to 0 for 7 against Oklahoma State this year. Addie Barnard and Ivy Rosenberry, quite the matchup here in the 6th. Barnard went after it, but Rosenberry really fired that one past her. Barnard singled in the first, reached via an error, and scored in inning number 3. In the 4th frame, she struck out. She goes for the first 2. Unsuccessful on both tries. Rosenberry can feel it. These are the big moments that pitchers want. You have quite the hitter in Addie Barnard. The accolades are endless for her. Rosenberry, however, feeling it, but Christy Benner making a wise move just to slow things down for a moment for Addie Barnard. The 0-2. Barnard swung, got a piece, but it's caught by the catcher. Rosenberry, marvelous in relief. It's still a 6-5 Oklahoma State lead.
Geico makes car insurance easy. As easy as getting stuffed up during allergy season.
Wichita State's trying to rally down by 1 as we're ready for the 7th inning. Christy Bredbender taking her spot back in the dugout. Here's what's coming up for Wichita State. Shockers set to stay here at Wilkins Stadium for 3 games against UAB. Then at North Texas and 3 games against Memphis. Season coming to a close. And then you have the American Athletic Conference Championship, May 8th through the 11th, and Wichita State does get the chance to host that. which is rather exciting for Director of Athletics at Wichita State, Kevin Saul and company. Allison Cooper staying inside the circle for Wichita State. Came in and initially ran into some trouble, but also was dealt an unfortunate hand. Lexi McDonald, the Oklahoma native. She was hit by a pitch last time as a pinch hitter. Allison Cooper getting that K there. That is 2 Ks now for Cooper. And now the number 9 hitter will be a different look, not Megan Bloodworth. Katie Lott, the 5'8" sophomore from Cypress, Texas, getting the spot at the plate. This year, .234 batting average, making an appearance for the 28th time this year. She has logged 16 starts. Has 11 hits for OSU. Started 2 games against Iowa State. Went 1 for 4 in the series. 1-0. Cooper getting the call there, 1-1. Allison Cooper, 2 1/3 innings of work. Has given up 2 hits and 2 runs at this point with 3 Ks. And Cooper with another terrific placement on the pitch. Her and Ivy Rosenberry, both of them, quite successful for these 2 teams. I have a feeling that it could be a thriller like the last time, a walk-off win for Oklahoma State. Maybe it'll be different for Wichita State here in Wichita. This one fouled off. Cooper thought she was going to get the second out there. Oklahoma State has done quite well in 1-run games this year. The Cowgirls are 7-2 in 1-run games this season. Also 2-0 in extras, in case you're wondering about that. Wichita State, meanwhile, just 2-6 in 1-run affairs. 2-2. Yeah, Cooper lost control of that one. She's been able to make that pitch work, though, a couple different times this season for Wichita State. That's been the challenge this year, has been the pitching. 3-2, and Cooper goes high again, doesn't get the control. A 1-out walk surrendered by Cooper. And it's just the first walk given up by Wichita State's pitching staff, which that to me would seem like a major success for WSU. However, it's still a 6-5 deficit. Pinch runner coming in, Taylor Anderson, 5'4" freshman from Texas. She's now on the bags as the lineup card flips over. Jillian Poulard had a sacrifice fly that scored a run in the 5th, 1 of 5 for Oklahoma State. Line out to left in the 3rd. Started things off with a single. Oklahoma State came out swinging and being aggressive. Oklahoma State's first run actually came via a double play. That does not happen all too often. Oh, 1 fouled off. Poulard transferred in from McNeese really a high-energy player. She ends up going opposite field, however, playing it perfectly is Urban to come up with the catch. So Pilar takes her spot back of the dugout. That Knees had a solid career there. And sometimes when you transfer into a new spot, you can really go either way. But Coach Gajewski was able to bring her in and maybe has rekindled that love for the game a little bit more. That's the thing, when you're around Coach Gajewski, I think that's the one that you could probably pick up on right away with him. The 1-0 to Talon Edwards. Cooper getting the call, 1-1. Edwards, Hood is there, and Sammy Hood showing up the range to close out the top of the 7th. Wichita State needs a run to continue. We'll be back with more. Will we see the same here tonight? Wichita State needs a run to be able to do that, though. Hitters 3, 4, and 5 all set to come to the plate. Oklahoma State changing things up defensively. Scotland David is in left field now. Poulard stays in center. Tim stays in right field. Edwards over at third. Bloodworth is over at short. Davis at second. Godwin at first. And Wong stays behind the plate. So David is only the new entry, but Bloodworth was replaced at the plate, but now she's been brought back in defensively. Rosenberry bringing some heat. She's getting stronger as this thing continues to roll along. She's just getting loose. 2 2/3 innings of relief work, 2 hits surrendered with 3 Ks and a walk. Solacek going right back to Rosenberry, and she is able to scoop it over the first. There's the first one down here in the bottom of the 7th. I tell you, Rosenberry is just gaming right now for Oklahoma State. And when she came in, you're thinking, all right, well, Oklahoma State in a hole. End up closing out the 4th inning, 5-1 deficit. And the offense for the Cowgirls exploded in the 5th, and Rosenberry's like, all right, cool. You gave me a run or a 1-run lead, and here's what I'm going to do with it. (2-0) to Bailey Urban. And she is over tonight, 0 for 3, with a couple of ground outs and a pop-up. Urban, she was really looking to give that one a ride, trying to tie it up with the swing of her bat. She did wrap up the series against South Florida with a home run. Rosenberry, you can hear the pop so loud because she is bringing the gas here in the 7th. The 2-2 dips a little bit below. (3-2). Urban hanging in there. Well, way back against number 25 Auburn in February, she crushed her first career grand slam in a 7th inning comeback against number 25 Auburn. That would be a good time to do something similar, but Rosenberry says, no ma'am. Down goes Urban Rosenberry with her 4th punch out, and Oklahoma State and out away from completing the come-from-behind victory. Rosenberry, simply put, just dialed in. Sammy Hood, the last line of defense for Wichita State, trying to keep it going. And Rosenberry has her right where she wants her. 0-2 count. The 0-2. A little too much mustard behind that one. Sammy Hood 1 for 2. She did single last time up. Walked and scored in the 2nd, flew out the right field in the 3rd. The 1-2, Rosenberry delivers a gem in relief. 2 Ks in the 7th to shut the door on Wichita State. Number 6, Oklahoma State gets the job done, 6-5. We'll be back for the postgame.